Now, let me tell you, Cynthia, that you're mistaken about your analysis of APGA. I doubt if you have seen the manifesto of APGA. Because if you have seen the manifesto of APGA, you're not going to make the statement that you made. Remember, APGA is a political party, is a national political party with officers across the 36 states of the Federation. And so it is very difficult for you to come and say, yes, that APGA, of course, at formation level, APGA was a product of what the founding fathers at that time decided, that because they believed that Ndi Igbo really has no say in the politics of Nigeria, they came together and said that we need that political platform that we can use to articulate our position. This was the position in 2002. But at the same time, APGA understands that for Ndi Igbo to be active in Nigerian politics, they have to play a role in such a way that their voice must be articulated and heard through a platform. Now, from 2015 to 2027, because this tenure, by the time the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes to an end in 2027 for the purposes of the first tenure, it means that we would have been out of say in our country for a period of about 12 years. And the national leader of the party, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, believes that for us, it will be self-defeatist for us in Ndi Igbo to continue to play opposition politics, because for us to get to the forefront of Nigerian politics, we need some sort of alliance. We need some sort of handshake across the Niger, because the Igbo man on its own cannot really make the presidency without some sort of alliance with our brothers either from the north or from the western region.
You're making
and
that,
that's what we are saying.
Decision, it makes it even harder, wouldn't you say? With this decision that you're making, by not feeling the candidate, you need to make it harder. Why don't you listen?
I'm
listening
to you. You actually understand my point. This is one. I'm coming. No, it's not contradiction. The problem is I said you need to listen. As progressive, remember I told you, political parties have what we call ideologies. If you go to the manifesto of APGA, you see the ideology of APGA as a political party. And our ideology primarily is founded on progressivism, which is the ideology that we share with the All Progressive Congress. Now, we're saying that if you look at the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, look at the manifesto of APGA, and look at the manifesto of APC, one thing is common. What we share in common is the progressivism that we all profess, that at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we entrench progressive ideologies that is going to better the lot of Nigerians. Now, what we are going to do as a political party is that we align with Mr. President because we believe that based on the coalition or the accord that came into force before the 1999, when we said that there is rotational presidency, 8 years for the North, 8 years for the South. And the best thing for us as a political party that serves our interests is to align with the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You just said a minister. Mr. Ozenwa, you said the best thing for you as for your political party, for your own interest. You just said for your own interest.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, yes, like my colleague alluded to,
for us as a political party,
like my colleague alluded to, yes, if you're so blown away by the ideology of the APC, then why don't you just have this merger so that you can be one and inseparable? Isn't that the ideal thing to do?
And I'm still telling you that that is one of the options. Either you merge or you retain your separate existence while still having an accord. There are two ways of achieving the same result. In 1999, remember, in 1999, if you are following the political history of Nigeria, you remember that we had an APP and AC, an Alliance for Democracy Accord. APP had Chief Ogbonnaya as its presidential candidate. Alliance for Democracy had Chief Olufalaye as its presidential candidate. But these two political parties came together and adopted the candidacy of Chief Olufalaye. They didn't merge. They retained their separate existence, but for the purposes of that election, they adopted a uniform candidate. And that's what APGA is trying to do. In 1960, we had the NCNC and MPC Accord when you had Chief Alhaji Tafawa Balewa as the Prime Minister and Chief Nnamdi Azikiwe as the ceremonial